It's a pleasure to have you here. The details now. 4 students and 3 teachers of the JoyNews Islamic Girls Senior High School who were arrested by the police after they stormed the station to solidarize with their teachers have been released. 3 teachers of the school were arrested by the police for allegedly assaulting a young man suspected to have raped one of the girls. The suspect is said to have bolted after the victim raised an alarm. He was identified the following day by the victim and handed over to the police. JoyNews' Upper West correspondent spoke to one of the teachers of the school.
Harassment against or sexual assault against Sharon. We were thinking that the police would have investigated the matter, taking into account the interests of the students, because these are young innocent students that have been brought to school to come and learn. So if a matter has been reported on somebody harassing them sexually, it should have been a matter of interest to the police. But to our dismay, the matter took a twist, and this evening the police invited the staff to come to the police station, and we were made to parade as if we were criminals for that guy, alleged rapist, to identify amongst us who were in the scene when he was arrested. So now everything has turned to be that the staff of JoyNews Islamic Girls Senior High School has assaulted the guy, and the police has now shifted the burden of proof. Instead of pursuing the rape case, they are now pursuing assault on the guy. Meanwhile, when the police came to the scene to take over the alleged rapist from us, neighbors testified that the guy was of weird character, that he has been harassing them. He is a thief. For us, and this matter was aired on air. So if the police were to do a diligent work, they should have pursued this matter to the latter and ensure that the truth is ascertained. So we are dismayed that the police had not acted professionally, because in the first place, JoyNews Islamic Secondary School is an identified institution. You could deploy your men to the school to come and investigate the matter. Why ask all of us to come here? And look at the way they are managing the matter. Here and there, arresting some of them and putting them behind bars. It's unfortunate, and these are some of the conduct we talk about the police. Police should be professional, even when you realize that the students were misconducting them. Masters are here, you invited here, we came here at your instance. Why didn't you invite masters and instruct them to ask the people to go? You are harassing both masters and students. So it's unfortunate. The police authorities should be up and doing and call their men to order. This is not responsible policing. It's very unfortunate that this is happening.
You've seen some of your students being whipped?
Yes, we saw some of them being whipped. As we speak now, 4 of them are under detention. 4 of them, and one of our masters, who is a Liberian and teaches French in the school, is also in the cells.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So that was Mohammed Tanko, one of the teachers at the JoyNews Girls Senior High School. Let's get in touch with Rafiq for the latest on this development. Hello, Rafiq. So just give us a bit of clarity, and let's start from the alleged rape incident. What do we know about it? Hello, Rafiq, if you can hear me, I'm asking you to give us details of the alleged rape incident. What do we know about it?
This is an incident that, according to school authorities, started way back last year. And even when President Akufo came to the region on his campaign tour, when he met the chiefs and people of the Upper West, especially the Walla community, they brought it to his attention, and he said that they were going to get a fence wall for the school to not to allow people to encroach the school, and also these rapists, alleged rapists, to come into the school. And so they reported these incidents of rape cases to the Wa police, and which they are aware about. And so about a week ago, one guy whose name was given as Sharon was arrested by school authorities for allegedly attempting to rape one of the girls. And so he was handed over to the police, and then the police also interrogated him. During his interrogation, it came out that he alleged that some tutors at the school had assaulted him, and then the the police then said that they will go to the school and then also look for people who really assaulted the suspect. And so they went to the school, invited 3 of masters to the Wa police station. And when they got there, they were then made to line up for the guy for the suspect to identify them. And so when he identified 3 of them as the people who assaulted him, so the police asked them to write their statement. And so in the middle of writing the statement, that was where the students from the school got wind of that information and they stormed the police station demanding that their masters or their tutors should be released immediately. And so that was what transpired yesterday evening, late evening.
Rafiq, at what time did this alleged rapist enter the campus of the school?
The incident happened on the 15th of June this year. That's about 5-6 days ago. And so according to what we heard from the victims and also some of the tutors, what happened was that he came, took this girl, insisted that he would sleep with him. But the lady told him that it is in her menstrual period. And so the guy insisted that whether you are in your menstrual period or not, I'm going to sleep with you. And so it was there that the lady raised the alarm and then the guy bolted away. And so this is somebody that they know who lives around the school because his house is about some few meters away from the school. And so the following day, tutors and then the masters from the school and then the victim went to the house of the suspect, and that was where he was able to identify the suspect, and the suspect was arrested and handed over to the police. And that was actually what transpired. And then when he came to the police station, so the police expected, the tutors expected the police to investigate this issue of alleged sexual harassment on their students. But 4 or 5 days later, they stopped at the school and they saw police storm their school and invited all of them to the police station, wanted to line up for the guy to identify who really assaulted him. I spoke to Chief Inspector Gideon, who is the Upper West Region's Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service. He said that when the guy was arrested, they saw marks of assault, and then was there that they inquired, and the guy the suspect told them that it was upon his he was arrested that he was beaten up by the tutors. And that was why they kept the police.
I'll come back to you shortly, but let's listen to Chief Inspector Gideon Boateng.
That case of moving around the premises and alleged rape was reported to the DOSU, and that one is being investigated at the DOSU. And this one too, as the man is also alleging that he is sick, and they stepped on the abdomen and other things and assaulted him and tied him. One police went there, we saw it. So that one too is at the regional CID here.
You are saying that you want to use the assault case to cover up?
No. The alleged case, which is with the DOSU, is still pending, and they are investigating that one too. But no, it's never that.
So what message do you have on this issue for the public or the school authorities?
And that's why we want the school authorities to talk to the students, and not even only that school, but other schools. The teachers should talk to the children to educate them on how they should stop attacking the police stations, because after all, we invited them to the police station, and if nothing happens, how can police invite somebody to the police station? So they shouldn't have done that in the first place.
But they said that you people also manhandled the students, whipped some of them. That's the accusation.
It's not true. No, you can go there and see the stones that they threw against the police here.
And so those were...
So, Rafiq, finally, tell us what the mood is like in the school. And, I mean, before you do that, the person accused of raping or attempting to rape the student, what has been his plea so far? Has he pleaded guilty already, or has he said he didn't indulge in that incident?
According to the police, they are saying that they are still investigating on the issue.
But what has the suspect been saying? Okay.
The suspect at the moment is denying that he sexually arrested a student from the school, and so the police are saying that they are still investigating on the issue. And so at the moment, the Wa police have two issues on their hands. They are investigating the issue of assault and also the issue of sexual harassment. But I can also report to you that the mood in the school is now calm. Calm has returned to the school after 3 tutors and also the 4 students were released.
Thank you, Rafiq Salam. We'll leave it here. Rafiq Salam is our Upper West Region correspondent. Away from there, angry residents of Itrima, Kwanuma in the Ashanti region staged a demonstration Tuesday morning protesting delayed construction of their road, which started in 2017. They blocked a major link road, compelling motorists to seek alternative routes to their destinations. The demonstrators are unhappy with government for failing to continue with the road construction. Nanayao Jima joins us live with updates. Hello, Nanayao. Nanayao, tell us more about this stalled road project. Where is it located?
So we are talking about the route that links Atrima to Boom to Atrima to Chiman, and it's one of the major routes in the Ashanti region. It can also go through this area to Manso, and it can also connect you to the Kwadaso road, which also leads to Sunyane. So it's a major road here in the Ashanti region, and this road has been under construction since 2017 when the NPP government took over from the NDC government, and the plan was to dualize sections of the road and also tar the areas which were very bad. But after some time, the president or the government has refused to continue this particular project. In 2020, when President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was campaigning for a second term, he came to this area and assured the people that very soon the road will commence. And even the road minister, Mr. Mwakwanta, also spoke to the people about the project. And according to Mr. Mwakwanta, immediately that ceremony is done, a week afterwards, there will be contractors, Sabia Construction, who has been assigned to construct this road. He'll be back on the road and get the road constructed. But since then, they are yet to see any major improvement on the road. So that necessitated the action that the people took today. And moreover, the drains have been constructed, but the bridges are not fully done yet. So whenever it rains, some parts of the area flood, and it has been causing a lot of damage to the people there. So today, these people blocked portions of the road, affecting or obstructing motorists or the flow of traffic. It took police and military intervention to come onto the road and ensure that these blocks that these things that they've used to block the road is taken away for traffic to resume on the road. But it took about 2 hours for the people to demonstrate and register their displeasure about how government has refused to continue or complete the road in this area.
Nanaya, have the residents been responding to the reasons for the delay?
Now, the last time the road minister was in Ashanti region, when questions were thrown at him about this road, he said government is doing everything possible to ensure that this project is completed. But from our own investigation, it seems the contractor on this road is there to receive funding for the project to continue. But according to the minister, it's still in government's plans to complete such a project, which is very, very instrumental in traffic flow in the Ashanti region.
Right, Nanaya Aljima with Love FM joining us from the Ashanti region, giving us details of that demonstration that was held earlier today. Away from that, Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Isidro Bekwe, says there is no evidence of the Delta variant in the Ghanaian community, but says the only way to contain the threat of the new variant is to strictly stick to protocols. Speaking on the Super Morning Show, he said the measures put in place are adequate to deal with such a threat.
The Delta that we are talking about is at the airport. For now, we don't have evidence of Delta in the community. But what we will do is or what we have been doing is that we assume that persons who are coming from these areas be having a different skill. So we now assume that their contacts who will negative at the airport could be having the virus. So we follow them up and we test them. And we didn't get any positive case. For now, if you look at our data, there's no sense. So it's possible that we don't have the Delta. I'm not saying that we have it or not. So that's what we are doing. And clearly, as I said, we have the several system in place to detect at the airport and also at the health facilities. And then we have the contact traces to follow up possible cases. I mean, clearly that's what we do. And what we need to do is to heighten up that awareness. And I'm happy about this report, that it tells you that clearly the virus is not gone. We do not need to look at that as we the early part of the year. And then people will now going back to wearing the mask. Well, we try to make sure that we get the necessary vaccine to vaccinate. And I want to say that Ghana is not fixated on AstraZeneca or Sputnik. What we have is that we've registered 3 vaccines. There's Sputnik, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson. There is global challenge about availability of vaccine. And all efforts are being made to get the right vaccine. But until we get the right numbers and the right number of population immunity, our sure bet is that we protect ourselves.
Now, back in Accra, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has been responding to claims that question papers for the 2020 WASI were leaked to candidates. Education think tank Africa Education Watch says its investigations revealed that the question papers were sent from WAEC's IT department to other online platforms. My colleague Kweku Asante joins us from the council's headquarters at Ridge, where the press conference ended a while ago. So Kweku, give us brief details of what WAEC has been saying about this investigation by the education think tank.
All right, Benny. So the West African Education Council have been systematically answering the questions that have been posed by the Africa Education Watch in its report. First, they deny categorically that any questions were leaked in the 2020 WASI examination as well as the BEC. What they are saying is that sometimes 45 minutes or 30 minutes to the paper, some people who may have had access to the paper may take pictures and try to circulate it. But from WAEC's viewpoints, no questions were leaked. And that was a question that I categorically asked Madam Agnes Tekujo, who is the head of the public affairs at WAEC, because prior to WASI, some of the papers, we saw questions that had gone around, students demonstrating that questions that they had seen did not come and all that. And so I asked her a categorical question, whether or not from WAEC's standpoint, any questions were leaked. And what she said was that no questions were leaked from WAEC's standpoint, and their investigations have all confirmed this. And so she is debunking the report from Africa Education Watch that this happened. There was also another issue that the Africa Education Watch reported on in this investigation on the 2020 WASI report. First, it said that some examiners' details, contact details, were leaked to the public. WAEC says, yes, these contacts of WAEC examiners were leaked. It was unfortunate, but they had in place systems that made sure that no person could be able to contact some of these examiners to try and convince them to mark some scripts otherwise. And so among some of the issues that WAEC raised in terms of the system they have put in place to ensure that the WAEC examiners' details that leak will not affect the outcome of the results. Let me take you through the 5 pointers that they talk about. They said they swapped scripts across regions. Scripts were swapped to ensure that scripts originating from a particular region and those from nearby contiguous regions were not marked in that region. And so, for instance, if you take your WASI in Accra, your WASI script will not be marked there. It will be taken to, let's say, Navrongo or another region that they did not disclose for obvious reasons. They say exclusion of school names on script envelopes and mark sheets. This made it impossible for examiners to know at face value the school that the scripts they marked belong to. They also said that team leaders vetted the scripts marked by assistant examiners, and then they cross-checked all the scripts that were marked. And so they admit categorically that some of these contacts of examiners were leaked, but they say that because of some of these systems that they have in place, and some of them I've just read to you, it made it impossible for that to affect the outcome of the results. And so they are actually punching a lot of holes into the report that has been authored by the Africa Education Watch. They say the Africa Education Watch did not contact them and have sufficient discussion with them before the publication of this result.
Kwekwa Sante, on the first point you raised, if I got you clearly, the West Africa Examination Council Ghana admits that in some cases, pictures of questions were taken a few minutes to the examination and some of the students saw them, but they don't consider that a leakage of the questions.
Right, so according to Agnes Tekujo, she is not saying categorically that this may have happened. The first point they want to make is that, for starters, no questions were leaked from WAEC perspectives. But they are saying that sometimes few minutes to the start of the papers, and because examiners and all those people around may have had access to the questions about to distribute it to students, some of them may take pictures. And they say that actually one person has already been arrested in connection with these pictures taken, as well as the leak of the examination details, who is currently being prosecuted. And so they are saying that when it gets to that level, they do not have so much control over that. That is the point that they are trying to make. But from the WAEC strong room and where they set their questions and where they print their papers, no questions are leaked to the public. Because in Africa Education Watch report, for instance, they say that sometimes hours or even a day before the paper, some of the questions find their way into some Telegram and WhatsApp platforms for onward selling. And what they are saying is that this is not true. They are saying that this is not an accurate representation of some of those things that happened prior to them taking the examinations. And so they are actually saying or warning that among the options that they are open to includes taking legal action against Africa Education Watch for some of the things that they brought out in this publication. Of course, they do not say categorically that they will be going to court tomorrow or the next day, but they are saying that legal option is something that they are currently considering, given some of the damning things that were found in Africa Education Watch's report on the 2020 WASI.
Asante, we'll leave it here. That's my colleague joining us from WAEC's headquarters at Ridge in Accra. Earlier today, they addressed a press conference responding to investigations or research by the Africa Education Watch, which is an education think tank. Away from that, the 2020 National Population Census starts this Sunday, June 27. The exercise will last for 15 days and will end on the 11th of July. A number of your concerns are key to conducting a successful census, and that's why this morning we are chatting with the Ghana Statistical Service on some of those concerns. Head of the census publicity, Mr. Nyako Labi, joins us live with more. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for joining the program.
Thank you very much.
Right. So we have received some indication that the Statistical Service has addressed some concerns people had about the categorization of ethnic groups. Can you give us further details on that?
Thank you very much. Yes, some concerns have indeed come up. One of them, typical one, was the one from the Fulani ethnic group. So besides what the press conference was, actually their interest was a little different from what the press conference that the group that organized what they tried to portray. The group sought to indicate that the Fulanis are saying they are not to be considered in the census, and they were asking to be included in the census, but that was not the same. That has never been said anywhere. Beyond that, the leadership of the Fulani group also organized themselves, and they have come to the office, and their concern was the issue of not the Fulani group, but their ethnic grouping. You know, we asked of every person's ethnic affiliation, and so they were saying where we have put them under the group. You know, we have major group and then minor group, and so for instance, if you have something like a major group like Akan consists of several subgroups of, let me say, Cree-speaking groups. Some may not even be speaking Cree. When you have put another group like Guans, we have Guans from the south to the northern, some of the northern groups that are in the country. They are also constitute the Guan. We have like Latte, you have Gunjas, you have Ntumurus, who are all Guans. And so what they were looking for is that they had seen in our document that we have changed where they originally or where they know they are. The Fulanis are supposed to be in a group called the Mande, a major ethnic group called the Mande. And we have put them under others. And they said, no, they don't belong to the others. So that was their major concern. And that one is not any problem. So they didn't have any issue at all when they came and we sat down and looked at their grievances. It was resolved peacefully and amicably. We have another group also who has come up in a similar tone. We're a similar tone. We sat down and we also came up with the same understanding. And so all those groups that have come up or that have issues with the census, as far as their issues are concerned, have been resolved. The good thing is, even though these cries have come a bit late, I mean, at the time we have almost developed the questionnaire, but because data collection on these areas have not started, at least we have been able to work on it. In terms of materials that have been published, hard copies, what the error or what it is that we have done will still exist. But in the data collection, the understanding we made them to have is that for now it is easier for us to do whatever changes that has been discussed on the tablet that will be used for the questionnaire. And one good thing also they all understand was that at the end of the day, when the data collection is done, the publication, as we have always done in all censuses, does not come out with individual tribes. So you are not going to see something like Fulani, which is let me call it an individual and a subgroup. When you go to the Mande group, they are a subgroup. You are not going to see Fulani.
All right.
So those groups, once you see the major group, which is the Mande, that is what they are going to see. You are going to see Akan. You are not going to see Asante Tree, Achim Tree, or that kind of thing. All you are going to see is Akan.
Okay.
Those major groups are what will be indicated in our publication.
All right.
And so they were all happy with it. And so there is no problem.
Mr. Labi, when you talk about the groups that raise concerns being comfortable now, does that include the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission?
Oh, as for Ahmadiyya issue, we dealt with it long ago. That was the first one. That was on a religious ground. And so that one, we dealt with it long ago. You know, the issue with the Ahmadiyya group was that we know in Ghana, who doesn't know Ahmadis are Muslims? We all know they are Muslims. But in 2010, the Ahmadiyya group wanted to know, when you say Muslims, how many of them are Ahmadis? And so the Ahmadiyya leadership came during before the 2010 census to ask if we can help them get that numbers. And we said it is data collection. So once we pick it at data collection point, we can get it for you.
Okay.
So we did that one for them to know their number. But when it comes to the publication, the national publication, we did not separate Ahmadiyya. We made it Islam.
Okay.
So that all of them, whether Ahmadi or whatever, you are Islam.
All right.
But if you are an Ahmadi and you want to know how many Ahmadis are among the Muslims, then you can also get that number.
All right. So
but this time around, they said they no longer need that kind of data. Because,
all right.
And so it was no issue at all. We had resolved it long time. We told them that, yes, the publications for printing have been done. just like I explained earlier on. All those things have been done. So it's not going to be possible to change all those documents. But when the data collection is being done, the question of whether we used to have, are you what religious affiliation? What is your religious affiliation? And the person will say, if he says Islam, then you ask, are you an Ahmadi? And so we have changed that one, and so now Islam is Islam.
Okay, so quickly, Mr. Labi, just a few other concerns people have. This is lasting for 15 days. If somebody has traveled outside the country and they want their data to be captured, is there any digital platform available where, or this is strictly your volunteers coming to people's homes to collect the data?
Yes, when the volunteer comes, the people is going to count in the household with reference, with every question that you ask is with reference to 27th night, 27, which is the census night. And so if your brother or sister with whom you live with in Ghana, you stay in the same house, travel before the 27th night and does not return until the 27th night, he is like an usual resident of the household who has traveled. He missed the 27th night, so he will not be considered. However, we may ask questions about relations who have traveled outside and are staying there. If this your relation we are talking of, he is not going to stay there for long. So he will come back. He is an usual resident here, so he may come back within maybe 2 or 3 days. May even come in within the 2 weeks that the census is still ongoing. But because he missed the 26th night, we will not include him in the people in the household. Okay.
Another thing is, if I'm moving homes, let's say if I'm moving from the eastern region to the Greater Accra region, and as at the 26th, which is the census night, I am in the eastern region, but I move out in 3 or 4 days, and I'm now located in the Greater Accra region. If the officials come to my home, will I pass to be counted? And will I be considered a resident of the Greater Accra or Eastern region?
Yes, you will be counted. But the issue is where 27th June night meets you. Were you in Eastern region or you had come to Greater Accra? If you had moved to a Greater Accra and you were probably looking for a place to reside, and then 27th June meets you, you spend the night in Greater Accra, that is where you are going to be counted. But if you were still in a, let's say, Koforidua or Eastern region, and you had not moved, but you had made all preparations, probably you have taken some of your things even to Accra. It means where you pass the night is where you'll be counted. That one, you'll be counted. If not even in your home, maybe you had moved into a hotel, you'll be counted in the hotel.
All right, I appreciate your time, Mr. Labi. That's Mr. Nyako Labi. He's head of census publicity at the Ghana Statistical Service, and we've answered a few of your concerns about the census, which will take place in a few days' time. So you can get onto the Ghana Statistical Service website and update yourself, and hopefully you can furnish yourself with all you need to know. You're watching News Desk with me, Bernice Abubedulansa. Coming up shortly, we've got business, and the Buffer Stock Company is calling on government to support in building food reserves. Darryl Kwao has more shortly.
Hello, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The National Food Buffer Stock Company is calling on government to support in building food reserves to ensure that the country is food sufficient. It believes this will make Ghana a major supplier on the international market. According to Chairman of the Finance Committee, Dr. Emmanuel Sarkodie, this is a way to go to attain food security. There's more in this report. The National Food Buffer Stock Company called on government to prioritize building food reserves. This, it believes, could make up for dollar reserves, as it will make Ghana a major supplier on the international market. Addressing the Minister for Public Enterprises and his entourage on a working visit to the company, NAFCO emphasized that Ghana having food reserves is the way to go to become food sufficient. Dr. Emmanuel Sarkodie is chairman of the Finance Committee of NAFCO.
Just as we hold stocks for petroleum, which is called BOST, it's important that we hold stocks for food as well. And our funding requirements is quite huge. However, it is not unsurmountable, it is seasonal. So our recommendation to government was to have some agricultural bills and bonds that are tradable on the exchange. Instead of holding our reserves in dollars, we can hold some of our reserves in food. So government underwrites these bonds for us, which are tradable things that we can go on the exchange.
Deputy Chief Executive of NAFCO, Kofi Amoako, revealed that his outfit currently holds 2,750 metric tons of grains for the Economic Community of West African States. According to him, this is part of ECOWAS's strategy for food sufficiency in the sub-region.
If there was any food crisis, by the time food relief, that has been the usual practice for food relief to come from donor countries, Europe and the Americas. It takes a couple of months, 2-3 months for the food relief to get here. So ECOWAS, in their wisdom, decided that they were going to hold food reserves within the sub-region, and the European Union helped to fund this project. In our warehouses in the northern region, it's mainly grains, rice, maize, millet and sorghum. We hold about 2,750 metric tons of these grains for any emergencies that may happen.
Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is intensifying its modernization drive for the sector through all 5 colleges of agriculture across the country. Chief Director of the Ministry, Robert Ahenkwa, says developing technical education is critical to achieving Ghana's agriculture modernization objectives. He spoke to Live Business at a handing over event for facility facelift at the Kwadaso College of Agriculture in Kumasi. Prince Apia was there and our reports.
By the Chief Director at the Ministry of Agriculture, the team inspected facilities at the Kwadaso College of Agriculture. The exercise is part of upgrading activities in all the agriculture colleges across the country. It is under the bigger modernization agriculture project funded by the Canadian High Commission. Robert Ahenkwa is Chief Director at the Ministry.
We believe that the training institutions are very key in all this. Okay, they require, very conducive and modernized environment so that teaching of agriculture, will be the best that we expect of it, and also to be very attractive to the students. And so to go along with it, the labs, the home science department and all that are benefiting from this. The structures have been like this for some time, and it is appropriate that we modernize these structures, so that we can get the best.
A contractor has been engaged to start the rehabilitation of the science laboratory and the home science department of both the Kwadaso and Ohawo colleges of agriculture in the Ashanti and Volta regions respectively. Reverend Benjamin Asante Mensah is principal of the Kwadaso Agriculture College.
We have the mandate of training these youngsters to be at the forefront of the agricultural revolution. And we know that we are in a global village, and so we must always be abreast with current trends.
All right, and that's business for now. Sports is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you so much for staying. George Addo Jr. is here. We are here to talk sports as usual. So quick one, George. Yeah. The Euro is still ongoing, bringing the best of commentary on radio and television. Tell us what to look ahead to.
Yeah, so today we have commentary England versus Czech Republic. That's the game. Even though England and Czech Republic have all qualified, that game becomes a dead rubber. But we would still look at it. It's a good game. A few players are missing. The likes of Mason Mount have had to isolate because they were in contact with Scotland's Billy Gilmore, who had tested positive for COVID-19. So that's just the other thing. In the other game, that's Croatia versus Scotland. Scotland will be eyeing a place if they can get into one of the best 4 third-place teams. So that's pretty much about it. But it's good with the emotional story that we had, the fact that Denmark, even though they lost their captain, he's not playing with them, but it's fine. Ericsson, they're able to qualify to the next stage of the competition, and it's great. So far the qualified teams at the moment, Italy, Wales, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Austria, Czech Republic, and England.
Okie dokie.
And France as well.
And the big one is tomorrow.
Yes.
France-Portugal.
France-Portugal.
That's a must-watch one. We definitely will bring you.
Stand. France have qualified. Portugal need to beat France if they want to qualify.
And they're defending champions. All right, let's see how it goes. But do join the Joy Sports team. You can get all the updates also on my joyonline.com on the Joy Sports page. That'll be it for this edition of News Desk with me, Benes Abubeidul Ansah. Do stay on. My Pizza Sibidi is next with Joy News Interactive.